You know, I really gotta tell you, I am sick and tired of the media narrative and now what seems to be turning into the Obama campaign narrative that Hillary and Bill Clinton are somehow racist. You know, this is really just an insane notion to throw out to the American people, not to mention completely and utterly not true. You know, I see commentators and pundits, both in television and on blogs, and in some of the nation's largest newspapers. You know, they talk about the Clintons' racism, they say that they're prejudiced, that there's racial tensions, and it just gets my blood boiling. Now, as Sam Stein of the Huffington Post reports, and this is a quote from the Huffington Post, and it's on the front page right there currently. Senator Barack Obama, and this is a quote, Senator Barack Obama's presidential campaign has prepared a detailed memo listing various instances in which it perceives Senator Hillary Clinton's campaign to have deliberately played the race card in the Democratic primary. It goes on to say, the document provides an indication that, in private, the Obama campaign is seeking to capitalize on the view and push the narrative that the Clintons are using race-related issues for political leverage. You know, I watched Chris Matthews on Hardball the last few days, Tucker Carlson on his own show on MSNBC. I watched Tim Russert this morning on Fox News and CNN. You know, Donna Brazil's been on CNN. And every single news channel, both at the ticker at the bottom of the screen, as well as the pundits introducing the segment, all said the same thing, that Bill called Obama's candidacy a fairy tale. That's simply not true. Here's the former president's full quote. Okay? This is from the former president. Quote, it is wrong that Senator Obama got to go through 15 debates trumpeting his superior judgment in how he had been against the war in every year and never got asked one time, not once. Well, how could you say that when you said in 2004 you didn't know how you would have voted on the resolution? You said in 2004 there was no difference between you and George Bush and the war, and you took that speech you're now running on off your website in 2004, and there's no difference in your voting record in Hillary's ever since. Give me a break. This whole thing is the biggest fairy tale I've ever seen. So, you know, as is evident, when the fairy tale quote is put into context, Bill was not talking about Obama himself or Obama's candidacy. He was referring to Obama's position on the war. You know, in essence, Obama was against the war in '02, before it was for it in '04, and now is suddenly against it. You know, that quote in no way, as the Obama campaign is now saying, had anything to do with race. I think we can all agree that if Bill said it about, let's say, John Edwards or Joe Biden or some other white candidate, there would be no scandal, you know? It is the Obama campaign and the Obama loving media who are turning this into a racial matter. Last time I checked, it is perfectly acceptable and not racially offensive to point out changes in the positions of a candidate, especially one running for the office of the presidency. So, to quote Bill Clinton, when those say that the quote I just read exemplifies racism, give me a break. And the following statement is also being used by the Obama campaign in this memo to demonstrate, again, Bill Clinton's supposed racism. And here's the quote. Quote, Bill Clinton implied Hillary Clinton is stronger than Nelson Mandela when the former president declared, and this is a quote from President Clinton, I go to Nelson Mandela's birthday party every year and we're still very close. But if you said to me, you got one last job for your country, but it's hazardous and you may not get out with your life in lemon tag, and you have to do it alone except I'll let you take one other person, and I had to pick one person whom I knew would never blink, who would never turn back, and would make great decisions, I would pick Hillary. Again, how is that a racist statement? Can anyone give me an example? You know, I think it's perfectly reasonable and acceptable that when you ask a man, who would you take on what could be the last minutes of your life? And he picked his wife. I mean, seriously, Hillary is his wife. You know, he loves her, he trusts her. And let's face it, Hillary, like or not, has stood up in some tough times. She knows what she's dealing with. Okay? So, again, I point out that if Bill was asked about someone, let's say Churchill, who was white, and then he said, you know, I respect him, I like him, he's a great person, he's done great things, but I would still choose Hillary. There would be no scandal, and you can't convince me that there would be. You know? And now Obama and the media, I saw David Brooks on Tim Russert this morning. They're now saying that Hillary Clinton doesn't respect Martin Luther King. Here is a quote that they used to justify the attack. This is Hillary Clinton talking about civil rights legislation. She said, it took a president, referring to Lyndon Johnson, to get it done. And again, I ask, where's the racial controversy? After all, Senator Clinton was talking about civil rights legislation. She was not talking about the civil rights movement as a whole. Okay? Last time I checked, Martin Luther King was not a member of Congress, nor was he the president. So while of course MLK deserves a great deal of credit, and he was an instrumental figure in the civil rights movement, no doubt about that, you know. But he did not have any power to get legislation passed. It did indeed take a president. You know, Lyndon Johnson faced much opposition. It took a lot of strength, it took a lot of perseverance to get civil rights legislation passed. So it's not an attack on MLK when Hillary said this. It's merely a factual and historically accurate statement. Clinton was also making the point that it takes more than just a great speaker to get things done. It takes a president who stands up to the opposition and has the perseverance, the proven perseverance, to weather even the harshest of storms and come out not only successful, but stronger. If Lyndon Johnson hadn't taken a tough stand and stood up in the face of opposition, there would be no equality for all races. So now I want to address Senator Obama directly. I ask that you, your campaign, and the media drop this ridiculous act. Your claims that the Clintons are racist is simply nothing but a tactic, a spin, if you will, of the Republican dirty tricks of personal destruction. You know, this is a complete distortion of the facts, released to the public for the sole purpose of your political gain, your political benefit. I have no problem, Mr. Obama, when you argue against Senator Clinton based on issues and based on facts. But you have, with this latest scheme, crossed the line. You are trying to personally destroy Hillary, Bill Clinton, and their supporters, claiming that they are racist. Debate the issues. Debate the facts. Don't put out this lies. Mr. Obama, you are better than this. The Democratic Party is better than to personally attack someone. So you need to ask yourself, who is playing the race card? The Clinton campaign or the Obama campaign? If you ask me, with this latest memo, it's the Obama campaign. It's wrong. And more people need to stand up and say so.